Hi, welcome to my latest YouTube video, and my name's Mark. I'm going to be talking today about my end of term kind of summary around the lovely 997.2 GT3 that I've been very lucky to own for just under 4 years now. So this is an ownership review, and I'm going to be as open and honest as possible what it's like to own this car, which was my dream car and dream car for many others over the last just under 4 years. So end of term video. I actually sat in exactly the same spot down here at Mrs. McCurry's chair in Sydney just under 4 years ago, shortly after buying this car, and I gave a really good kind of first impressions review. So if you want to see that video and see how my pros and cons have changed since then, feel free to on this channel. So I bought this car in November 2021, just under 4 years ago, and I bought the car with extremely low kilometers. It had 9,000 kilometers back at that time, and now I've done 29,000 kilometers. And I have just sold this car literally a few days ago for a very good price. So I'm very happy about, and going to a really nice new owner. So I'm really happy about that as well. So during that time, I have pretty much done all of the kilometers were with road trips. So all around the Sydney area, Victoria. Really long multi-day road trips with my friends. They've been amazing road trips. I've driven the car in like rain, smooth roads, bumpy roads, high speed, low speed, with kids and the wife in the car as well, because it's one of the only GT3s in the country. Well, one of two with the rear seats, which I fitted myself. So what I'm trying to say is I've driven the car in all kinds of conditions, good, bad, slow, fast. So hopefully this is a good kind of honest review. So yeah, lots of road trips, lots of fun driving time, but let's go into the kind of running costs, because really, if you're going to buy a car like this, you need to think about the cost of the car. I mean, it's an expensive car here in Australia. $375,000 I bought it for, and I literally just sold it for a tiny fraction under that. So it's done very well, holding its value, etc. So running costs. Insurance, $3,041 a year. I'm 46. I've got a good clean driving history, garaged, etc. So that works out to be $1,970 or 1,477 pounds, English pounds a year. I'm going to give all of the running costs and everything in Aussie dollars, US dollars, and Great British pounds, so that you can all understand for most of where my viewers are around the world. So yeah, insurance has been not too bad. I've also factored in one free windscreen replacement every 12 months, which I've taken advantage of just to keep the car in tip-top condition. So what did I do in 2022, the first year I owned this car? So the crazy thing I did was installed rear seats. So this is one of two GT3s in Australia with rear seats, fully certified by the local road traffic authority we have here, the RMS, and it is so it's fully certified. Put the kids in the back, and share the GT3 experience with the family. So that cost me a whopping, this rounded up, 19,000 Australian dollars. You might think, what the hell? But for me to make the car special, it has those rear seats to share the experience with the family and make it pretty unique. There's only one other car, white one, my friend Bill, who has GT3 with the rear seats as well. So that actually, to US dollars, was 12,430, or Great British pounds was 9,210 pounds to put the rear seats in. But that's proper Alcantara rear seats with the full certification, very safe, which was very key for me with my family in the back, obviously. The engineer's report was 1,800 Aussie dollars, or 1,200 US dollars, or 870 British pounds, and that's really important to make it fully certified as a four-seater instead of a two-seater. What else did I do in the first year I bought it in 2022? I put a fresh set of Pilot Sport 4X's on it. That really changed the car, because one of my cons when I first got the car was the tyre noise, and especially on the freeway. And grip was good, but it had the Pilot Sport 2s that were on there, the original ones, had loads of tread. It was just purely because they were old and they were a bit noisy. So I swapped them out for the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. A bit more grip, which is great, but the tyre noise, so much quieter. That softer rubber, so much nicer on the freeway, which is excellent. Really good benefit there. So putting on a set of Pilot 4S's, Michelin Pilot 4S's, that was a really good thing. 2,200 Aussie dollars, which was 1,400 US dollars, or just over £1,000 for all 4 tyres. What else did I do in 2022, the year I got the car? I did a full paint protection film. So the whole car is covered in paint protection film. For a car that's in the high 300,000s Aussie dollars again, you got to protect the car. It's such a rare car. Only 2,600 were made. I wanted to protect my investment. So the PPF was $5,500 for the whole car. That was a 3-day installation process to install the PPF, and that's just because it's so complicated, all the little ducts and things, vents, etc., particularly around the back, around the engine bay area, where it's very kind of annoying to fit the PPF is what the installer said. So it took 3 days, 1 day in itself, just to do the rear section where the wing is. So that's 5,500 Aussie dollars, 3,500 US dollars, or 2,664 pounds for the PPF. A lot of money, but you basically, the whole car is protected against any little dents or chips or anything. It's PPF is well worth it for an expensive car. Next expensive upgrade I did was the Porsche Active Suspension Management, aka PASM, which is the little box that controls the suspension in the 2 wheels, how quickly they adjust to the road conditions. There's one called DSC Sport, made by DSC Sport. Everybody swears by this as one of the best GT3 upgrades to do. That was an expensive module to replace. 2,227 Aussie dollars, 1,452 US dollars, or 1,100 Great British pounds. But that makes it so much more compliant and softer on the terrible concrete, horrible rough roads we have around Sydney. We don't tend to get much good funding for the roads, some places. And when you're on a track and driving fast, it just stiffens it up, and it's just much better than standard. It's such a good modification to do. Next was purely cosmetic. The decals on the sides, you can see it says Porsche on the sides and also on the wing. That was $350, or 228 US dollars, or 170 pounds. Pretty cheap. I used a company called Acroman, Acroman. I think they're US. They were really good, great to deal with. Totally recommend them for any decals for your car. And then later in 2022, the first year I had the car, unfortunately we scratched a wheel, so repaired the wheel. That was $650, 426 US dollars, or 313 British pounds to repair the wheel. And the annual servicing's so good on this car. It's not like a McLaren or Ferrari or Aston Martin or something. It's just really reasonable. It really is, for the pedigree and the performance of the vehicle. Annual service was 536 Aussie dollars, or 350 US dollars, or 260 Great British pounds. So that was the first year. Oh no, sorry. It did have some stone chips and various other little scratches and things from high-speed driving on the windscreen. So there was a new windscreen, but that was excess-free by my insurance company. And that was, but just so you know, the new windscreen was 3,400 Aussie dollars, 2,222 US dollars, or 1,643 Great British pounds. So that's how much a new windscreen costs for a GT3. So there we go, 2022. I'll just reposition myself so I'm not getting dead legs. 2022, I spent a lot of money on the car, as you can tell. So it was the first year. People tend to spend a lot of money on their first car, doing all the little tweaks and the upgrades that they want to do. 2023 was much more reasonable. So in 2023, the running costs were, so the front nose lift. So this one has the option that you can make the front go up. I think it's 3 centimeters by pressing a button. Really good option if you live anywhere where there's speed bumps or you go into multi-story car parks. So good. But there's a belt on the compressor. The compressor for the front lift sits kind of in the middle of the car under the gearbox area, under where the gear stick is. There was a compressor, has an air compressor, and the belt snapped. So including all of the annoying labour to get in there and replace that snap belt, that was $570, mostly basically all labour, $370 and 276 Great British pounds. So that was to fix the nose lift, snapped belt compressor. Annual service for 2023, $816, $534 and 395 British pounds. So that was it for 2023. It's a good year. It was cheap running costs. Just the air compressor pump for the front nose lift. Okay, into 2024, I had a new front windscreen just because of all the road trips I was doing and the stones flicking up, etc. I just want to keep this car absolutely perfect. So I've replaced the front windscreen. It was excess free, but just so you know, it was 3,500 Aussie dollars, 2,260 US dollars, or 1,679 pounds. But through my insurance company, it didn't cost me anything. So in 2024, I also had a major service. So major service including brake fluid flush. So quite a few more things to do, so it's more expensive. The major service on this car is 1,300 Aussie dollars, 862 US dollars, or 640 British pounds. So yeah, that's as bad as it gets, guys. With servicing this, that's a major service cost. That was 2024, another pretty good year. I mean, nothing went wrong. I mean, just show these cars are really, really well made. And I was driving it very aggressively at times. Track day was in 2024, very high speed driving out in the countryside, far away from anyone in the city. It's just so well built. So 2025, which is the last year I've owned this car. Annual service was a minor service at 770 Aussie dollars or 502 US dollars, which is 373 pounds. So a few things went wrong. I mean, look, it's a 15-year-old car by this point, so some things are going to go wrong, guys. That's what happens. The coolant tank in the engine bay had a little bit of a crack. It wasn't leaking or anything, but just because I really look after the car, I wanted it to be totally schmick. So as preventative replacement, so I replaced the coolant tank, including the labour. That was 640 Aussie dollars, 420 US dollars, or 310 pounds. Next thing, something that did actually fail: the windscreen washer pump, and also the headlight washer pump. This is not expensive to replace, but it's just a real pain to replace this particular one. It's on, you can see behind me oh no, it's actually on the other side. It's on the front left of the car. You can't see it. But basically up in the wheel arch, you need to pull the wheel off. In the wheel arch area, you pull off the wheel arch liner, and then you get in there, you have to drain the tank, pull the tank out, replace the pump. It's just a lot of labour, basically, although the parts aren't much. So mostly labour. But that was an expensive job. It was 2,040 Aussie dollars. It's quite a big one, which is 1,328 US dollars or 988 pounds. So yeah, that was probably the most expensive thing that's gone wrong on the car for the whole just under 4 years I've owned it. So it's pretty good. I also had another scratched wheel. The first one my wife did, the second one I did, so naughty me. Yeah, that was 497 Aussie dollars, 324 US dollars, and 241 pounds. So, okay, totals. So over the just under 4 years I have owned the car, so upgrades and modifications, 32,000 Aussie dollars. Mostly that is the rear seats installed that made this car unique. And basically shared the experience with my wife and child family. So that was 32,000 in total for upgrades and mods, which is 21,000 US dollars and 15,000 pounds. So yeah, that's a lot. That's stuff you don't have to do, you know. But mostly the PPF, so paint protection film, the seats install, the PASM module, new tyres. Yeah. Didn't have to do the tyres, it's just I wanted quieter and more grip. So that's a lot of money. But maintenance and servicing, that's probably what you're more interested in, because those are things you have to do. So over just under 4 years, it cost me $17,000 or 11,000 US dollars or 8,000 pounds. So this is pretty good, considering this is probably known as the best driver's car made, or a lot of people say that. It's up to you. It's 425 horsepower. It's a very powerful, very high performance car. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So that's all of the running costs for over just under 4 years. Good to know if you are thinking about buying one of these. So now we've gone through all of the costs of maintenance, running costs, etc. for this car. Let's go through some of the pros and cons on likes and dislikes. So starting with the cons. So the first one is the front lip, the front spoiler. On the GT3s, they really stick out really quite far compared to many other cars. I was comparing against a Ferrari just the other day, similar age as this, and the front lip on this car is much lower. So you really got to be careful about speed bumps or going in and out of driveways, etc. So an absolute essential option is the front lift kit for this car. The front lift button, which is situated down here, you press it, and after 3 seconds, the front will go up to about, I think, 3 centimeters up. So that's great, and you've got to have that option with the car. However, you find you've got to be conscious of the fact that you've got to keep pressing that button if you live around a city or a town or anywhere like that, to keep pressing that button. And it's one of the reasons earlier on when I owned the car, my wife didn't like driving the car, which was she was fearful of scraping the front. So having to press that button every now and then, and remember to do that. But after a while, she got used to pressing that button, remembering to do it, and now she has much more enjoyment driving the car. So that's a little bit of a con, just the front lip, how low it is, and having to keep pressing the button all the time if you live around a city or that sort of area. The next con is, well, it's not a con for this particular one, because this car has the rear seats option fitted, which I did at great cost to myself. But yeah, the next one is that they don't come with rear seats, basically. Yeah, so that was a con. That is a con for the GT3 model. You can get them in all the other models, the Carrera S, the GTS Turbo, but not the GT3, because it's meant to be the track car, and so you shouldn't have rear seats. But obviously Porsche's learned about that. All the customers are asking for it, because in the 992 generation, the current generation, you can actually get seats in the back of the Touring, which is great. So I was a bit of a trendsetter here, fitting rear seats. So yeah, this car's got rear seats, which is great, but it did cost me an absolute arm and a leg to get them fitted into the car. So yeah, one of the cons is you can't get rear seats in the GT3 as standard, unless it's the 992. The last con, really, is yeah, like basically the value. So this particular model, the 997.2 GT3, is definitely going up in value, and that does play on your mind. It plays on your mind because you need to just be a bit more kind of careful and think about the fact that it is going up in value. It just kind of plays on your mind a little bit that you do have a car that is kind of an investment in a sense, and you've got to be that little bit more protective over it. So it depends on your financial circumstances if that is a con or not. In the long run, though, it's great because it is going up in value over time. So let's head on to the pros, or the likes. So the first one is the real sense of driving connection with the whole car. The steering, the braking, the engine response, it never does anything unexpected. You just feel so connected. I mean, the hydraulic steering is perfect. The manual gear shift, this is probably one of the best manuals in any Porsche made. Just the feel, the steering is excellent, the size of the car, the weighting of all the controls, and then when you start to learn how to drive the car really kind of much more up onto the limit of its grip and traction and using its real performance, and you start to lose a bit of grip, and it never does anything that's unexpected. It just feels, it sounds corny, but it feels like an extension of yourself. And you feel completely connected to driving with the car. I think this is probably one of the best
I guess, drive cars in the world to have that sense of connection to the car when you're driving on its limit. It just doesn't do anything unexpected. I know in the past Porsche 911s have had the reputation of the weight being at the back coming out, etc. I think that this particular model has been so well engineered from a chassis design point of view that it never has bit me and done anything unexpected ever in all of the time I've owned the car and driven it pretty hard on a racetrack and also on the road. So the whole dynamics, the drivability, it's just perfect. I've never driven a car that is better to drive and is predictable on the limit as this particular car. The next pro is, I guess, a bit of an extension to that, but it's the engine. The engine is an absolute masterpiece. The 3.8 litre Mezger engine, because it was designed by Hans Mezger, the Porsche Motorsport engine designer, who died a few years ago. He designed this engine. It was part of the GT1 Le Mans car originally, with I think a couple of turbos, and it had 700 horsepower. In this car, it's really detuned. It doesn't have any turbos. It's doing a relatively detuned 425, 430 horsepower. So it's really understressed. You can push it really hard, you can rev it, you can drive it in hot weather. The engine temperature hardly ever goes up. It's just loves to be revved, it loves to be really driven hard, it's so reliable. The particular engine is a masterpiece. It doesn't have any real known faults at all, unlike some of the other engines in the 997 generation with bore scoring issues and IMS issues. The Mezger engine in the GT3s and the turbos have none of those issues. So the engine is a masterpiece in the sense it just loves to be revved. It has such a great sound, great emotion, super reliable. It's absolutely superb. Okay, so that's all my pros. A lot about the driving side, the engine. Super reliable, super practical. It is more practical than you think. The space in the boot, you fold the back seats down, you have all that space in the back there. It's more practical than you think as well, and super reliable. Did I say reliable? Yes. Porsches are so reliable, they're so well built. Okay, so that's my pros and cons. I've gone into the running costs. Yeah, look, I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I actually enjoyed making this video and owning this car for the last nearly 4 years. And I hope it gives a bit of insight to anyone that's looking to buy a 997.2 GT3 one day. And I really hope you did, because it was a really amazing and proud part of my car ownership life journey. Anyway, if you like the video, as I reach for the lifter button for the last time, like and subscribe. My next car will be coming soon. It'll be interesting to see which one it is. And thanks for listening. Cheers.